I want to go now to NewsNation's Sloane Glass. She joins us live from outside Rex Heuermann's home tonight. Amazing. I mean, we're a week out, Sloane, and look at the scene behind you. I mean, the whole area is still blocked off. I see the police standing there, still very, very active. What do you make of this this statement from the district attorney? Sort of doesn't say that the reporting is wrong that all the murders happened in the house, but also seems to be trying to calm everybody down.
Right, Brian, he essentially shut down that theory when we asked him. But look, the lead investigator is just trying to protect the integrity of this investigation, understandably. As you said, there's still a lot of activity. It's 8 days in, and there is no sign of investigators leaving this home. Now, it is stomach-turning to think that those crimes could have taken place in the house that Rex Heuermann lived in with his wife and 2 children. You also heard the account from the former escort saying that Heuermann had asked her to come back to his house. So we're just going to have to wait and see what evidence comes out.
Do we have any idea, Sloane? We're looking at the video now. They're in the hazmat suits going in and out. They've been in and out of that house. Do we have any idea how long they plan to continue to investigate the house, how long that whole area will be blocked off?
It's like reading tea leaves. I've asked the police here. They say that they will remain on site for as long as it takes. Now, we have not seen as much activity today as we've seen in days in the past, but our view has also been obstructed by police cars. So there really is no telling at this point how long they will be here. It just doesn't look like anyone's going anyplace anytime soon.
And there has been this criticism, Sloane, that an arrest should have come earlier, that they had forensic evidence even a decade ago. What's the response to that? That is pretty alarming.
It is, if true, and that evidence comes from Amber Costello and her case. Now, Amber Costello is the 4th victim to be associated with Rex Heuermann. She disappeared in 2010, and not long after Amber Costello went missing, a witness came forward to describe a first-generation Chevy Avalanche seen in her driveway. They also go into great detail about that driver and what he looked like, describing someone in their mid-40s wearing 70s-style glasses. They even describe him as an ogre. Now, I spoke with a legislator here in Suffolk County, Rob Trotta, who told me, and Trotta had been a detective at the time in Suffolk County from 1988 to 2013, helping to cover that investigation. That investigators who he spoke to did not know at the time of those 2 main leads, the driver and the truck associated with Costello.
You would think, okay, there's phone calls in Massapequa, there's phone calls in Manhattan. He's probably taking the train. He's near the train station. Let's put 10 guys on the train and look for someone 6'4" or 6'6". They're going to stick out like a sore thumb. Let's check the parking lot. Let's check the neighborhood, if we can find this car. I don't know what was done, but, clearly something wasn't done correctly, because once they got this Chevy Avalanche, the whole thing fell into place.
Brian, there's also been a lot of criticism about corruption in the department, and it is well documented. The stories are unbelievable about the former police chief, James Burke, who was taken over as police chief several months after the bodies in Gilgo Beach were found. Now, he had been caught in his car while on duty sleeping with a sex worker. And there are accusations that Burke had prevented the FBI from working with investigators here once they found out that they were looking into him and his personal matters.
Yes, Sloane, that is one of the things that I have found the most fascinating and disturbing when you dig into this case. Past just the headlines of the last week, is the way this case has been treated over the last decade before this special task force became involved. And you mentioned it. I mean, the former police chief telling the FBI that they don't even want help on the case. It's no wonder it took so long to get solved. And now there are these new allegations that not only was the case mishandled, but there was this whole other scandalous side of this involving possible prostitutes and the police department. Have you learned anything about that?
Right. The story and the timeline is just crazy when you start to look into it, because we have James Burke, who had been caught in his car when he was sergeant in the 90s. And then shortly after these bodies are found on Gilgo Beach, he is promoted to police chief. So he's not even fired after being caught on duty in his police car having sex with sex workers, but he's assigned to a case that involves the murder of sex workers. And investigators have said that that could have changed the outlook and how the severity in which people were looking at this case. And also looking into Burke, in 2013, the FBI began to investigate him for accusations of battering a suspect and also trying to cover up that battery. He had been convicted of those crimes in 2016. This came after a thief had broken into his car, stolen a duffel bag full of sex toys and pornography.
Yeah, look, I mean, even more is going to come to light.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.